the live stream. So after Jim Rat, we have Jack Levine to see his point of view, and also we have Zentozi. If you guys also can give your take on Phoenix after Jim Rat. But now we have Beyond All.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. The question I have is, if you're aware of Zen, the first liquidity pool was created by someone around 150. Is there any lesson for Phoenix in regards to that?
Um, are you talking about when you say liquidity pool? Are you talking about on a DEX?
Yes.
I don't. I don't know. I mean, in terms of all of the stuff that happens on DeFi, that's kind of outside of our control. I'm like, we're probably not going to be the ones that create the first liquidity pools just because of the way that I think about the game theory of the Phoenix protocol. But somebody can set the liquidity ratio at whatever they want, when they create the initial supply.
But as you can see, for then, there will be some haters always for any project. So that would be a base for their, for talking about the bad things about the project. So I think it's a good idea to take a lesson from the liquidity pool created for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Obviously, if you go to the chart and the chart comes out and somebody sets the initial liquidity super high and it drops, you're going to have the optics. This thing of optics that maybe not don't look good.
Yeah.
But one of the challenges is that we're going to be launching this on 10 chains, right now, and probably more this year. And so it's going to be hard for us to try to set the prices on every single chain, right? We're going to be racing with people that are probably way more degenerate than us, and will be able to, claim Phoenix or buy Phoenix on the market or do something and get it in the pool quicker than we can. So I think from a feasibility standpoint, it's going to be outside of like my capacity or Johad's capacity to really try to set that price. And if somebody in the community is worried about optics and you hold Phoenix and you know what to do and you can write a script to basically end your stake the day after the first term and put that liquidity into a pool and set the price to the appropriate ratio, it's up for anybody to do. So I think it's a good point, but it's probably outside of what we're going to be focusing on.
So Jim Rat, you're up right now. You can hit the mic.
How's my audio?
Good.
Thanks. Thanks for the space. I just got off the stream, so I didn't listen to everything, but I listened to a bit. I wanted to touch on that, what Beyond said first, and I think that the optics of that, I think you're playing the right game by not trying to do that yourself. I think that is that can be a direct point where people say, look at this. Would you looky here? Mr. Joe Blue, who has nothing to do with Phoenix on the blockchain, spent all day trying to set prices for 12 different chains. And that sounds like in a not DeFi, and they're learning very fast within these, entities that are looking into these things now. They're starting to learn. I think keeping hands off is the best way for the user, because think about it. Zen's so much lower now, and I don't give a shit. Like, what do we all care? We're all minting. And then it can scale to the world like it's supposed to, because it's not small-sided, in a sense. So I think that's a point about that. I like that nobody's touching it. I hate that someone would go in and be like, I'm going to force this up, or like force this into play, because I just don't think that's how it works long term, and I don't think it's good optics. And my question for Joe Blau, how do you say your last name?
It's Blau, like a sound effect. Bling Blau. Joe
Bling
Blau.
Blau. Joe Blau.
Yeah.
So I would like to do a pre-recorded video with you, and I could publish it whenever, but I would love to get some information, and I had a stream earlier, so I couldn't really pay attention exactly.
Yeah, for sure. We can schedule something. We'll coordinate via DM.
I'll DM you. I just wanted to say thanks for the space, and I'm really into this stuff, and I'm learning, and I just haven't caught up quite yet.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
So we have Jack Levine in the house. Round of applause for Jack Levine.
Yay,
And after
yay.
we have Atozi. Yes, Zantozi. Santos. So Jack Levine, the mic is yours. Give us your opinion about the project, and if you have some um, thinking about what they can do to help. I know you guys are in communication with each other, so go ahead, man. The mic is yours.
Jack has not stepped up yet to request to speak, so I've sent him an invite, but he might be in listening mode only.
He keeps asking me my blood type. Should I tell him?
Sure, why not?
He's like, come to my island, and what's your blood type? I'm like, this is a vampire. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just going to step down. Have an amazing day. Crypto Kindness, we should hit up on a stream, but I'll DM you guys. Have an amazing one.
Yeah, DM me, brother. I'd love to. And Joe, likewise, I'd love to get you on YouTube, and so people like to put a face to the name and interact on video as well.
Perfect.
Get
Yeah.
Crypto Prophet out there as well.
Yep, definitely. Be up to hop on streams next week.
What are your, I guess, while we're waiting for people to join in, there's a lot of hexagons in the group. Hearing that a lot of the code that you pulled for the project comes from Hex, you can expect a pretty large pushback from some of that community. That's something you A, care about, and or B, plan to address if you do care about it.
Yeah. So I will say that I have been participating in Hex since the first day. So I'm very familiar with the code base, very familiar with the community. I kind of grew up in the Hex community watching Hexologist from like day 2 or 3, I think, is when I first started watching him. So I know a lot about the contract. I've read the contract. I've built 2 user interfaces, one on the web and one on the iPhone that interact with the contract. And then, so I have a lot of experience with the contract, even though I'm not very vocal. And it does draw on a lot of inspiration from the Hex contract. And so I'm sure, if you own Hex, I have Hex. So if you own Hex, you're probably going to be like, oh, this is not good. But one of the things that I think I want to try to expand upon is basically bringing that idea to other communities. So there's 2 things that make it kind of difficult to export Hex into other communities. This is just my opinion. I could be 100% wrong. But one of the things is from a mechanism design standpoint, so how the contract starts, you've got 2 different ways to onboard people. You can either claim Bitcoin that mints Hex, or you can go through this OA process, which exchanges the layer 1 token for Hex. And I think taking that concept, and then that exchange goes to obviously the OA. And I think taking that concept and exporting it to like Polygon, or exporting it to Doge chain, or exporting it to OKC chain, or exporting it to another chain might be difficult for other communities to kind of grapple with and accept. So that's kind of like a little bit of a barrier to entry. And then the second thing is that the Hex contract is not licensed for being copied or used anywhere else. So for me, I come from a background of like open source. The way I learned how to program in the 90s was literally like going to a website, right-clicking, looking at the code, copying it, pasting it, and making my own websites. That was my genesis before I got a computer science degree. And so one of the things that I'm a really big proponent of is open source software. And so because the FENIX contract is going to be licensed under the MIT license, anybody can take it and go run with it and go make any modifications they want. Like all these ideas that we're talking about, they're free to be improved upon and designed upon. And so because it's MIT licensed, I can go deploy this on all of the chains that Zen is deployed on. And because it follows all the crypto first principles, the only thing I'm doing is deploying the contract. After that, each individual user, each sovereign user is making their own decision as to whether or not they want to interact with the contract or not. And another thing is, when I spent a lot of time at Uber, and if you work at any of these big tech companies, they have this concept inside the companies for engineers called experimentation, and they'll run like A/B tests on stuff. So there might be a UI with a blue button, and you click the blue button to go to the next page, and there might be a UI with a green button, and they'll actually run in real time the application in different modes for different people. So I'll give you an example. At Uber, we used to run these tests in certain cities where you can make the app do specific things for a specific amount of people. And then you use statistics to back test and say, okay, we changed this thing, and did it increase user engagement or did it decrease user engagement? And FENIX is just a different way to kind of wrap this concept of trustless interest and allow you to export it to multiple chains very easily. It's a very simple concept, like a very simple contract. There's only, like I said, 180 lines right now. So it's very easy to take that concept and then export it to other chains and then really see how far and how fast this concept can go. And that's kind of what I'm excited about. We don't need to worry about the onboarding mechanics to get people into Zen. Jack has done an amazing job taking care of the onboarding. And what we're focused on now are utilities that integrate with the core protocol. So this is just one utility that integrates with the core protocol that you can choose to use or choose not to use. There's also ZenFTs. Some people love NFTs, some people hate NFTs, but you can choose to use them or not choose to use them. There's going to be a reflection token. Some people love reflection tokens, some people hate reflection tokens, and you can choose to use it or not choose to use it. And I think all of this is in service of the higher level vision of Zen, which is to educate people and onboard people into crypto. Not everybody's going to like everything, and I think that we also had this concept at Uber called land and expand, right? So Uber would go to a new city and they would find the places where all the drivers stayed, and then they would basically try to get a cohort of drivers and try to get them to start an Uber network. They would find 10 or 15 people, and they would incentivize them to expand that network. And I think the concept that Zen has, where it lands on a chain and expands and grows that community, is very important. And I think it's a very good scaling mechanic that we can use as FENIX protocol that might be a little different than how Hex's growth is going to happen. So there's just two different options. And I'm sure people are going to have ideas and opinions about it. And that's totally fine. We're just deploying something that's an experiment. When we're not making any money off of this. Like I said, we have no OA. We don't get any kickbacks. We're not getting any pre-allocated supply. We're minting our own Zen just like everybody else, and we're going to participate just like everybody else. But that's a really good question.
Awesome. Hey, I got to bounce. I apologize. I wish I could stay for longer. So if you maybe want to put somebody else, Crypto Professor or somebody in as co-host, but thank you very much for having me here. And definitely reach out to me. I'd like to hook up with you and get you an interview get you some more voice and get the word out there.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see if Zensu will come up and help me out.
Okay, there's someone else that has a question. Jobla, I think can we bring up Jet so he can also introduce himself and talk about his background, like a 1 minute background or 2 minute, I don't know how much, so you can also introduce him to like a co-founder, so people can get to know him also.
Oh, Johad, yeah.
I sent him an invite.
I think he was asking about Johad.
Oh, Johad. I'm sorry. I thought he said Jack. Excuse me.
Yeah, Johad, you want to come up and chat for a second?
Sure. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, like Joe mentioned, we're co-founders of this project, and we're super stoked to have you guys onboarding different parts of the community. And like Joe mentioned, we're really taking example from Zen for reviving the crypto first principles. So we're kind of going off of that, building in that same vein. And yeah, excited to be here. In terms of background, I think Joe mentioned for the folks that were here at first when this stream first started, but I'm on the design side, so the marketing, experience, design. My background is actually in the automotive industry, so I worked a couple of years at Volkswagen in Germany, then moved on to Kia Motors, then moved on to Oakley. And I did a little bit of eyewear for those folks in the chat that like ballistic eyewear and sports performance. I was part of that team, so a few of the frames that are out. Then after that, I had a stint at Uber ATG. So for those that don't know, Uber ATG was it no longer exists because it got sold off, but they were trying to essentially solve self-driving vehicles, and that's actually where I met Joe. And Joe is the one that introduced me to crypto back in 2016. Joe is crypto class 2013, so he's been in it a lot longer than I, mining his own Bitcoin back in the day. But we've been tinkering so far, and we came about this current idea that we're excited to talk to you folks about. And yeah, it's pretty much a bit about my background.
So yeah, Zentozi, did I spell it correct? um, yeah, you're up.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
I just want to have this, like, congratulate you. Like, I love this idea of this. When Zen, I read the white paper, like, last night, how when Zen lockups, and then you can't no more mint the Phoenix token. I just think that's a great idea. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Can you speak about that more to, like, explain more of what I'm trying to say? Thanks.
Yeah. So the idea is that we're burning Zen to basically mint Phoenix, and I think somebody brought this up in a tweet that I saw earlier. But at some point, the Zen inflation is going to taper off, and it's going to become disinflationary. So the new onboarding to Phoenix will eventually taper off gradually, and it will just be, the growth of Phoenix will just be on its own. It'll be on its own inflationary curve. But I think we're able to use Zen as the mechanism designed to kind of jumpstart the Phoenix project. So, there are tons of things. There are going to be tons of toys in the Zen community and the Zen ecosystem. This is just one. And so the idea is we want to just burn as much Zen as possible so that we can and also educate people into the different concepts that are in crypto, right? So that's kind of the thought around that. But thank you.
Thanks.
So before we keep on going, guys, I'd like you guys to go and like the page of Joe Blau and Jihad, and go to the Phoenix Twitter the Twitter account. Like I don't know if you guys have some YouTube channel, but in case you guys don't have it, yeah, go to the Telegram group at Phoenix. Let me check it again. What was the name again? Phoenix.
It's Phoenix_protocol. That's our Twitter handle, and that's also our Telegram channel. So t.me/Phoenix_protocol and twitter.com/Phoenix_protocol.
And also, if you guys need more information, you guys can just go to Doc Atomies. Did I say it good? And there you have also like FAQ of Phoenix and explanation, questions, answer and question that you want to know about. And also, you guys can also hit the GitHub of, if you guys are a little bit geeky like me, just go to the GitHub, and there you can find a lot of information about the contract, the Solidity contract, and you can dive into it and enjoy yourself with all the code, simple code, that you've been seeing on the Solidity contract.
All right, who's next?
Hey Joe.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey man, I've been following. I've been listening. Absolutely amazing. Very happy for this for this launch. Very excited about FENIX. Thanks very much for hosting this. There will be more AMAs coming shortly as well. So
For sure.
thank you very much. This is a big step in the right direction for Zen. We're very excited because this is exactly what we want. We want quality projects to be built on top of Zen, utilizing Zen, and absolutely love the fact that you're building this protocol strictly based on first principles. So I'm really looking forward to follow your journey here, and we're going to support you in any way we can. I posted the link, guys, in the comments here. So I advise you to go to that group and ask anything you wonder about. And there's also a link there to the light paper.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead.
Could you talk about the origin of the name FENIX protocol and yeah, could you talk about that?
Johad, you're up.
I can probably speak to that. When we excitedly received Zen in the ecosystem, we were thinking of there's this concept in startup world called find a fast moving water, and Zen moved very, very fast. I mean, we just crushed the threshold of 250 million active wallets, so that's incredible. We also started to dig into the code, and when we found the burn feature, the burn function, we were trying to figure out a way to give the wording and the branding a little bit of a heroic / just uplifting and excited for the future name. And Joe and I are both actually, our first language is Spanish. I'm born myself in Colombia, and Joe lived a big part of his childhood in Panama. And although we both have shed our accents, we were thinking, oh, the word phoenix, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of the burned Zen, might be really cool. And then we wanted to keep it short so that we could, have the ticker symbol. And then we had the idea of actually using the Spanish pronunciation of Phoenix. It's five words, so it fits the max one can have as a ticker symbol. And that's pretty much how the word Phoenix started. Also, thanks to Zensu for that shout out. We are consistently excited to be building with first principles in mind. I know every project has two sides to the coin, and for us, we wanted to create a protocol that is for the people, and that doesn't have a lot of those barriers to entry that a lot of tokens have. I mean, I've said this in other podcasts, but you go to Masari.io and you see where founder enrichment is a thing that is very pervasive throughout the industry. And you check out how much of these tokens have a pre-mint and how much of these tokens allocation initially goes to the founders. And you'll find that a lot of these projects' roots are just found in making the founders astronomical amounts of money and using their users as exit liquidity. So again, like Joe mentioned, this is first principles. There is no OA, and we want to participate in this with you all. And the rising tide will rise all boats. So we're excited to embark on this journey with you. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Will there be any cap in terms of its supply when it's all done?
So the idea is to not have a supply cap. It's going to be infinitely inflationary at a 3.14% inflation rate. But people have been proposing ideas such as having burns per transaction, or
I think Joe's having some technical difficulties, perhaps. Could you repeat the question?
Wait, can you hear me? Oh,
Joe is already answering it. I think he cannot hear him.
no, I hear you guys. Oh, Johad probably can't hear me.
Let me text him.
Wait, can you? Who was asking the question? Was it BU?
Yeah, it's beyond.
Beyond all? Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Okay, perfect. So Johad's having some problems. Yeah, so I was saying that there's going to be an infinite supply. There's not going to be a cap, but people have been proposing the idea of a burn in either burning to the dead address or burning to just like a transaction burn. So we have to kind of weigh those different ideas and see what makes sense. But right now, the way the contract is designed, there's no supply cap.
So the supply cap will be determined. The first one who burn his Zen and receive the Phoenix token can just some liquidity, and then the supply will eventually appear and the market cap also, right? If they don't stake,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that would happen. Yep.
Nope.
So now there was somebody did propose, I think per Trevon, somebody did propose a locking period where I think it might have been General Shill earlier, where you basically burn your fee. When you burn your Zen, you automatically have to lock your Zen for a certain window. So that could also be a mechanic that gets introduced.
So if it's inflationary, what stops Phoenix from the sell pressure?
The idea is that the inflation only gets paid to the people in the Phoenix contract that are staking. So if you're staking, you're locked in for whatever your staking term period is. So it's just a way to buttress the selling. But after you can sell if you want.
Sorry, sorry.
And why not designing something that is disinflationary or deflationary, as it would be more of a store of value?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the way that I look at the Zen ecosystem is that there are going to be a suite of protocols that get built that integrate Zen's proof of burn mechanism. So if you want something that's disinflationary or deflationary, I think the idea would be just buy or mint Zen and stake your Zen, because people are going to build things that are going to be burning Zen probably throughout the rest of this year. So that might be a token, if you're looking for that type of mechanic, that may be more appropriate, and then you probably don't even want to participate in Phoenix. If you want something that's like, if you want NFTs, there's this NFT project. If you want a reflection token, there's going to be the reflection token that's coming out. And I think the way that you want to pick and choose different components from the ecosystem is really entirely up to you and what values you actually align with the most. For me, one of the things that I most align with is like long-term time horizons. Making sure that people have an equitable start so that everybody who kind of starts around the same time gets the same bonus. You take a lot of risk for being early. You should get rewarded for being early. But if you take risk later, you should also still reap a reward. And so those are kind of like the two core things that I'm thinking about when we're writing the light paper and writing the contract. Oh, sorry. And the third one was penalty redistribution, right? So I want to encourage people to be honest about their actions and their intentions. So if they make a commitment, I want them to fulfill that commitment. So those are kind of the three principles that we're looking at. And for us, disinflationary, it can work, it cannot work. But we think that there are going to be other projects that come out that could basically be a disinflationary project. Starts with some super high supply cap and just kind of, burns off supply over the course of however many months, years, days. So it could definitely be built. That's just not the goal of what Phoenix is about right now.
Okay, and is it right, my thinking that for the community to get the best bonus is to create as much supply as possible before the 180 days?
That is currently how it's designed, although there were some questions earlier that put that into question. So it may, the earlier you are, if we have no bonuses in the system, the earlier you are, the higher your reward will be. If we just start off with you just get whatever Phoenix you get and there's no bonus, if you do a stake that's earlier, you will be rewarded, and longer with more Phoenix, you will be rewarded more. So that's the core concept. The bonuses, we're still kind of having some discussions around, but the bonuses will definitely reward the people that have stakes open through that bonus window.
So we have Iceman.
Yeah, no, hey, sorry, I jumped in like 20 minutes late earlier, so, but I didn't hear anything about, is there going to be like a good accounting function um, in the contract? If people do not end their stakes, somebody can go in and maybe end the stake for them, and then I guess the penalty would get redistributed, or is there anything like that in the contract?
Yeah, that we just call that a deferral. So you can defer your stake after it's completed. So the deferral process works where when your stake is completed, if you end your stake late or after your stake is completed, the term is complete, you can click the defer button and that will just hold the amount of Phoenix that is supposed to be minted to you in the contract, but it will remove that Phoenix from the pool supply, right? So we take it out of the pool and then we just put it in a kind of like a little storage place for you for that address. And anybody can run that after the stake is completed. And then the only person that can mint that Phoenix into the wallet is the owner of the wallet. So there is something that's very similar to good accounting.
So
Go ahead.
I'm trying to see if I have some question in the group.
So we're coming up on 2 hours. If there are no more questions, we can kind of adjourn and go to Telegram and chat about some of these ideas. I've been taking a lot of notes, so I could post the kind of summary of the notes and the things that we should chat about. But I think if there are no other questions, we can adjourn this and I can get back to programming.
Okay, guys, I would like to thank everyone that has been in this space, everyone that has been participating with talking and without talking. I'd like you guys to go to the Telegram group. Remember to hit the like on the Twitter space and also share the Twitter space with your friends so people can repeat, re-listen to the record of the tweet. So from now on, we are going back to the Telegram group, so we can discuss everything. Thank you guys for coming, Joe Blau and Jab, and also we see a lot of dope people in the group. And yes, guys, thank you for everything. And yes, you might exit the group. Joe, you can tell everyone.
Yeah, I just want to say, so follow our Twitter. It's at Phoenix_protocol on Twitter and t.me/Phoenix_protocol. We'll probably open up a voice chat in there to talk about some of the details around some of these ideas that we shared in here. You can follow me. I'm pretty much at Joe Blau on almost every platform that exists. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me there. And you can follow Johad. He's at Johad Ellis on Twitter. And I think that's it. Yeah, we're excited to open up and kind of share what we're working on and, get your feedback. And then from there, get this contract launched and just burn more Zen to the ground.
Thank you, Joe. Amazing. Thank you so much. Well done.
And I also want to thank all the people that have been doing videos and commenting, because a lot of people, in their comments, I listen and watch almost everything. So in their comments, I've been taking a lot of notes, and I've already made a lot of refinements to the light paper, to the contract, based on a lot of people's feedback and ideas. So thanks.
And the memes are amazing.
Yeah, the memes. I need some Jack level memes though. So that's my next goal.
So meme makers, your guys are up. So hey, come in the group, come in the Telegram, and drop your memes. We're gonna make a special meme group.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you on Telegram and Twitter.